HoloStudio was a pioneer app for HoloLens, and as such, we didn't have any best practices for 3D UI and interaction design. So we had to figure things out through user testing, prototyping, and a lot of trial and error. We know that not everybody has the resources at their disposal to do this type of research, so we wanted to share some of the top issues we had with UI design on HoloLens during the development of HoloStudio. HoloStudio originally had a rectangular workbench, much like you'd find in the real world. But the problem is that people have a lifetime of experience telling them to stay still when they're seated in front of a desk and using a computer, so people weren't really moving around and exploring their creation. We had the insight to change the table to be round, so there's no clear front or place that you were supposed to stand, and all of a sudden people started walking around and exploring their creations on their own. So think about what's comfortable for the user. Taking advantage of the physical space is a cool feature of HoloLens, and something you can't do with many other devices. So one of the problems is that users might be looking in a different direction than something that needs their attention in your app. Now, on a PC, you can just pop up a modal dialog. But when you pop up a dialog in front of somebody's face, it can feel like there's something that's getting in their way. And you want them to read the message, but they just kind of want to get away from it. So we turned our dialogues into a thought bubble system, and we added tendrils that users could follow to where their attention was needed in our application. We also made the tendrils pulse, and that implied a sense of directionality so users knew where to go. It's much harder in 3D to alert users to things they need to pay attention to. So using attention directors like spatial sound, light rays, and thought bubbles can help lead users to where they need to be. Sometimes users need to interact with a hologram that's actually behind another hologram, which unfortunately blocks the UI. So to keep the UI visible, we tried moving it close to the user so it couldn't get blocked. But then it wasn't comfortable to look at a UI that was near while simultaneously looking at a hologram that was far away. If, however, we moved the UI in front of the closest hologram to the user, it felt like it was detached from the hologram that it was actually affecting. We finally ghosted the UI, and this puts the UI at the same distance as the hologram it's affecting, so they feel like they're connected, and it allows the user to interact with the UI even though it's been obscured. Users need to be able to easily access controls, even if they've been blocked. So figure out methods to ensure that users can complete their tasks no matter where their holograms are in the real world.